Welcome back to another split stream, everyone. Thank you for being here. This is the second split stream that we're doing, not to be confused with the split stream power weapon. Yes, I made that joke last week, and I'm going to make it every time because it gets funnier every time. If you're not here last week, we did go ahead and talk about game design and a lot of things of the sort for feedback on alpha. If you haven't taken a look at that, it is on our VODs on Twitch. You should definitely be sure to do that. Today, we're talking about level design. I am Jesse Griefenberg. I'm an associate producer here at 1047, and I am joined today with Proulx, CEO and co-founder of 1047 Games, and one of our level designers, Garrett Billian, who is worth $1 billion to me. Garrett, if you would go ahead, and give your guys yourself an intro, that would be great.
Yeah, well, I'll start, but I'm Proulx. I'm the CEO and co-founder. You guys probably know me, but maybe some of you are tuning in for the first time. So for all of you who don't know, I'm also creative director. I was creative director for Splitgate 1 and now creative director for Splitgate 2. And I'll let Garrett introduce himself, one of our awesome level designers we've been working with for a few years now.
Yeah, thanks. I'm Garrett Billian. I'm a level designer here, and I worked on Bypass, so you guys will have probably already seen that, and we'll talk about it a little bit more later. But yep, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. My favorite comment so far is Garrett has $1 billion mustache. So the people love you, Garrett.
Thanks.
So I want to go ahead and talk about some feedback we've gotten. We have heard a lot of players wanting even more maps or more portals on our maps. So I want to talk about some changes we've made with that in mind from feedback we received from the previous maps and some of our plans moving forward for future maps. Garrett has a great video that he's made up to go ahead and address this. And yeah, today's feedback or today's talks are going to be on portals, maps, level design. So I don't know if we have that video ready to show now, or if we want to chat a bit about any feedback that we have.
Yeah, so we did a little bit of a before and after video here that we're going to queue up. But basically, we're showing what the game looked like during the alpha. And what it's starting to look like now, right? Where we're heading with the feedback that we've received from you guys. So, yeah, we can check it out here in a little bit. But mainly what's going on is that we've heard from a lot of people that there's some improvements that we could do to the portals on some of the maps, and we take that feedback very seriously. We want to see what people are thinking and what they're saying. So we're scouring the feedback across all mediums and seeing what actually makes sense, what works for us, and yeah, giving it to the players to try out in recent playtests as well.
Yeah, and I'll just chime in. I mean, this is how we built Splitgate, right? Like and it's how we're going to build Splitgate 2. Everything we do, whether it's map design, game design, level design, art, whatever it is, like the reason that this game even exists is because of you guys and the fans giving us feedback on all this stuff, the community, and so with level design, it's no different. We're always looking for feedback. And like Garrett and Jesse highlighted, like we're reading. I mean, I'm on Reddit, I'm on Discord, I'm on Twitter. We're all reading that stuff. And so we've seen people want even more portals. Like that's what they're going to get. And Garrett was actually the one, he's selling himself short. He did make Bypass, which is actually my personal favorite map in the game. But also a lot of future maps that are pretty freaking awesome. But Garrett was also the one who went in and did all of the alpha changes, I believe, right? That's correct? Yeah. So all of the changes that we've made that we revealed in that video with Zenith, with Frontier and Ozone having additional portal walls, that was Garrett. And we tested it, and I think we were quite happy with internal feedback as well as with the response from you guys.
Yeah, I think some of the changes were really well received, and I think there's probably still room for some improvements. We're trying to take some of that into future maps and learnings there as well. So it's it's a step-by-step process. We're gonna attack the feedback as we can as it comes. But yeah, keep it coming.
Awesome, thanks, guys. Yeah, if we can go ahead and roll that video, that would be great.
Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Splitgate 2 Alpha and providing us feedback. We've already begun using that feedback to make changes across our roster of maps, starting with, of course, the first set released in the Alpha playtest. For Frontier, there's several improvements to the exterior portaling options and better flow between the central floors. Ozone was the favorite amongst fans, but we still added a few floor portals that can provide some fun moments. And Zenith, amongst more portal opportunities, has also been fitted with a launch portal through mid that can be chained with momentum. And that's just a taste. Future maps will already have this philosophy built from the start. See you soon.
Awesome. That's a super informative video, and I really love the before and after shots. So that's great. Ian also mentioned a little bit about Bypass, one of our newest maps. Not everyone has seen or played it quite yet, but we've gotten a good thumbs up from our smaller playtests so far. If you have not seen that video, we will have it up on the stream in a few minutes here. And there's been some buzz around, larger, more portal-savvy maps, like in the first Splitgate, and Bypass seems to deliver this well. In regards to Splitgate and the first maps of the game, Ian actually did a lot of the map design for Splitgate. Much smaller team. He made a lot of the original maps. Ian, do you want to chat a bit about your story, the map design in Splitgate 1, and how we're pivoting to Splitgate 2?
Totally. Yeah, well, I think it's kind of a funny origin story. So when Nick is that guy in the background, if you can see him. But when Nick and I started 1047 in our dorm room 7 or 8 years ago or whatever it was, we were both programmers, right? We're both engineers, both gamers. Somebody had to make the map, so it was either going to be him or me. And kind of the fallback on why it was me is I had more time spent in Halo Forge as a kid. I spent countless hours in Halo Reach, Halo 3 as well, but especially Halo Reach's Forge, just making maps with my friends. And so I was therefore the level designer of the team for Splitgate 1. I think, back then I didn't really know what I was doing. It was just kind of like, I just want to make fun maps with variety and see what works. I think that same philosophy stays true today. I think the biggest difference between Splitgate 1 and Splitgate 2 with our map process is just the amount of iteration that goes into it. Splitgate 1, we were on such a tight timeline. We had unlimited things to do. I always had code to get back to. And so, for me, it was kind of like, I make a map because I think it's going to sort of work. I make it as quickly as I can. We play it internally. We get a little bit of feedback on it and maybe make some changes and then kind of call it a day and hand it off to art. I think with Splitgate 2, just the amount of iteration and testing that we put into every single map. And we have maps that have just been thrown away. Like, we're not afraid to throw a map away. I mean, actually, one of Garrett's favorite maps that, for whatever reason, it just wasn't. Yeah, it totally happens. Yeah. You just can't be precious. We would never have done that in Splitgate 1, right? We just didn't have the bandwidth to go make a ton of maps and pick and choose. We didn't have the luxury to do that. And so I think the biggest change this time around is just the amount of iteration, testing, tweaking that goes into one map so that we just make sure it's the best map possible. And then even when we're done or when we think we're done, right, like that mindset never goes away. And actually, we did this in Splitgate 1 as well, right? I think Oasis is a great example of a map where I think it still has its issues, but the very first version of Oasis compared to after getting feedback, even with a live map, we added some portal walls on that map. So, this isn't the first time that we've made a map where we've gotten feedback from the community about wanting more portal walls or wanting more this or that or cutting off angles, whatever it is. Like, this is not the first or the last time that we're going to go out with a map that we think is great, and you guys are going to tell us how to make it even better, and then we're going to change it. So I think that's sort of the biggest change in mindset this time around. And just having resources, right? I mean, we've got Garrett, we've got Mingfei, Sam, Blaze, like, we have a freaking stacked team of level designers and just kind of letting them loose. And I don't know. I'll let Garrett speak too. Would love to hear your thoughts.
Sure. I mean, same goes as what we were just mentioning before. We're really taking that feedback seriously and seeing where these locations on the maps can improve. And I'm super proud of the team that we have, and our company has grown substantially since the first game, and it's really exciting to see how we could put these talents together and come up with some amazing stuff. And of course, we're taking feedback internally as well to try to refine those experiences before they get to you guys. But I would just say, like, we are we're really proud of what we've been able to accomplish already. Like, our level of polish on things and level of detail that we're paying attention to is very high, and that doesn't get there without having the passion and the drive to make sure we have something that you guys are going to enjoy out in
Yeah.
the wild. So
I'll add a couple things too, I think, on map design this time around. It's just, the amount of thought that goes into every single angle, every single portal wall. I mean, we really put a lot of thought into, like, all right, how can I triple portal off of this? How can I build momentum off of this? Right? You saw with Zenith, we added the momentum jump, but we wanted you to be able to chain things together. Like, we're not just going to throw something into the game. It's like, okay, everything is very intentional. All right, we want this, and we want to have these angles, and we want you to be able to jump out of this with momentum to then chain it into this portal floor to get more momentum and kind of keep it going. I think, like, some of the maybe lack of intentionality that you might have seen in Splitgate, and we probably went too far, candidly, and I think what you're seeing now is sort of us addressing that feedback to find that happy medium. But what I would say in Splitgate 1 is, like, Oasis being a perfect example of, like, very cool to have these giant portal walls high up in the world where you can have awesome angles, you can triple off of it, you can portal peek, right? Very fun. But I think the lack of intentionality there was, like, you're now able to camp for the entire game and see the entire map. And that's the thing we're trying to course correct and get rid of. And so with a map like Zenith, you'll have that new portal jump. You do have a power position there. You can see specific parts of the map, but the map is not designed in a way where you can literally just shoot everybody the entire game. And with Bypass, which we just put a video out of, that's also got some really sick portal momentum jumps. But again, they're at angles such that, yes, you have a lot of visibility, but you don't have a power position overseeing the entire map at any given time. So I think that's sort of that fine balance that we're trying to find. And I think, Splitgate was like one extreme, and Splitgate 2 probably went too far. And I think with the future maps and the changes we're starting to make already, I think we're really hitting that balance. But that's for the community to decide and to keep giving us feedback on, because we're going to keep striving to hit that balance.
Yeah, no, that's great feedback, Ian. Thank you for that insight. We just went ahead and showed a little bit of bypass there from that video, and I've been playing Splitgate since 2017's like first alpha. Humble brag, I guess. But one of my most favorite things is portaling, obviously. And over the years of working at 1047, I've gotten to know a lot of the level designers. And Garrett, I want to talk a bit about portal wall placements. Obviously, making a great map is difficult. How does adding not only the flow of a map, but also integrating portals into that aspect change the way you make maps? Does it have a large impact on that? Obviously, I call them pixel portals, where you can stand at a certain location and you can see the sliver of a portal. Is that something that you guys take into consideration when making these levels?
yeah, absolutely. So, like, most of the time, what we're worried about is, players. We're giving you the tools to essentially do a map hack, right? Like, you're teleporting from one location to the other, right? So we really want to be careful with where we're sending you, what access points you have, what line of sights you have, because, like you said, all you need is one pixel, right? You need one pixel to see that portal, and you can get to that location. So yeah, we've tried to implement systems where we're paying attention very closely. We have a system where the team will go through and we'll review maps before we even play test it to see where these things are. Some things are intentional, though, right? We may put a sliver sightline in that's totally intentional that we want you to have access to. And we want you to learn the maps over time as well, right? Like, it shouldn't just be, here's the map, you know it instantly. There should be a skill growth, right? Like, you should grow as your knowledge expands and your skill gets there. But yeah, we're deeply paying attention to these things. Some of the elements that you'll notice as well is that you don't often pop out of a portal and then try to run back in and you get snagged on the floor as often anymore. And that's because we've really fine-tuned the size of these portals to fit much closer to the portal size itself that you're walking through, but also we have some mechanisms that snap the portal to the ground. And so this helps with players going in and out of portals quicker, especially for triple portaling, but even for regular use when you pop back out. So we're paying attention to all the little details, and trying to make sure that the experience is as polished as we can get it. So yeah, we're paying
And
very
I'll
close.
just add, yeah, and I'll add, like, all of these are things you can turn off, right? So if you don't want portal snapping, I think the idea there is if your portal is 6 inches off the ground, we hate that feeling of stubbing your toe and just, oh, I think I'm going to go through and shit, it was 6 inches too high and now I stubbed my toe and I'm just stuck. So these are things, though, maybe a pro player is like, I don't want to have to, like, if I'm placing my portal 6 inches off the ground, like, I want to do that. You can still do that. You can turn that feature off. But for most of us, it's a lot easier to just say, hey, make my life easy. And I think, like, our philosophy here is the skill ceiling, and you'll see it even with the sort of auto triple portaling system where it's one button press, you can turn it off. But we want the skill ceiling to be on your fast reactions, your aim, the fact that you're pulling off super sick plays with portals, not, the skill ceiling to be like, oh, I pressed the proper button and crap, I was about to do a super sick play where I outsmarted my opponent, but then I hit the wrong button or I stubbed my toe. Like, we don't want the portal system to get in the way of you. We want it to just work the way you want it to work. And then you pull off the sick plays because you just totally outsmarted your opponent. Like, that should never ideally get in the way of, the system, and the controls shouldn't get in the way of the decision making and the precision of pulling off a sick play, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Ian. Verticality is a big conversation right now, and we love that. This sort of ties back into a bit more on what you were speaking, Ian, with Splitgate 1 maps. It was sort of larger, a little bit more complex, and of course, we do hear those trickle feedbacks, which I'm really glad that we've added floor portals on a couple of our current maps from alpha feedback. The community has dubbed them floortals, if you're
Portals.
unaware. Yeah, floortals.
I like it.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, absolutely. And we always want to be able to push our limits for the community and provide the best maps that we can. From a gameplay perspective, from an art perspective, everything, of course. I want to go ahead and talk about community feedback. A lot of people like a lot of different sorts of maps. We have smaller maps, we have larger maps. What's the thought moving forward with the map structures? Are they going to be intertwined with factions? Just trying to get an idea of what future maps are coming down the line in regards to size and variation.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said this many times. It's like a high level game design philosophy is we really want to focus on meaningful variety with a purpose. And I don't think we've shown that off yet. It is, I will tell you, there's a lot of meaningful variety coming. I think with the map pool, we led with the smallest maps in the game, largely just out of, I don't know, we probably should have put a little more thought into what we led with, but it was more just, here are some of the earliest maps we made. And I think we've gotten better at making maps since, but here are the first maps we made that happen to be on the smaller side. Bypass obviously is one of the larger maps. So, there's plenty of map variety, both visually, thematically, verticality wise, gameplay wise. Like, you're going to see a lot of variety with our map design, with our modes, with our weapons, like with everything. Yeah, I mean, I'll hand it off to Garrett. Anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for us, like, we're just as interested in these things that the community is. So when people are talking about momentum portals or floor portals, ceiling portals, like, we're talking about these things internally. We're trying different things out and seeing what works. And yeah, we're trying to prevent some of the more abuse cases from occurring from the first game, so that the experience is more on the positive side than some of the drawbacks. So yeah, we're trying all these different things and seeing what works and what's fixed.
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, right, we would take Splitgate 1 and all the good things about it, we would do more of that, and all the frustrations, we would do less of that. That's what we're trying to do, right? And no matter what we do, it's never going to be perfect or that simple. But that is absolutely kind of the goal here with Splitgate 2, is how do we take what worked really well, what people love about this game, portals, gunplay, movement, let's double down on that, and how do we sort of address the frustrations? Okay, I don't want to be shot from across the map, way 300 feet high in the air. There's a balance, though.
Yeah, even from our first frequently asked questions that we posted, one of our things was we want Splitgate to feel better and focus on everything that made Splitgate 1 so great. We are about 20 minutes into this, so we're going to take 5-10 minutes. We're going to answer some chat questions in regards to the stream, focus on level design, that sort of thing. If your questions are not answered, we do have a official Q&A tomorrow in our Discord at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. Go ahead and do ! Discord or ! Socials to get a bit more involved with our community. The 1047 team, we were a very chat focused, very community focused studio. We did go a little silent, of course, working on Splitgate 2, but now that we have some great things to show you guys, we are, of course, trying to get a little bit more open, answer some questions, because I know everyone here is super excited for the game, and we're super excited for you to play it again.
Yeah, and I'll just say that was not our intention ever. Our intention has always been to be community first. That's how we made Splitgate 1. That's exactly what you're starting to see. Like this kind of format, whether it's Twitch stream, Q&A, Discord Q&A, private playtests, like these are the things we did in Splitgate that made us get to where we're at. This is what we're kind of resetting to go do more of. So you're going to see a lot more of this stuff. You're going to see a lot of changes based on what you guys think. So,
yeah,
let's dive into the Q&A.
All right. And we do have Restream up on our end. So if there's any questions coming in from, YouTube, Instagram, anything like that, we will also have visibility on those questions as well.
Jesse, are you the one filtering or are you taking the questions, or you want us to look?
If you guys want to take a look as well, we can just sort of jump in and whatnot. So
someone already said that you're their hero, Jesse. So
that means a lot.
He's my hero too. Yeah,
you're my hero. But look at that. That is crazy.
Who's your hero?
Let's see. Not necessarily map related, but when can we expect the next beta test? Currently, we're not going to be saying anything in regards to our next potential beta tests or anything. But do know that we are just as excited for you guys to play as you are. Having you guys come in, play Splitgate 2, it's an incredible feeling for us. So, we are excited as you are to get into the game.
I also just want to play because I love to play with, I get to play with the company twice a week, which is super, super fun. But I can only kill Jesse and Garrett so many times before I need to, be pushed a little bit. So
he's too good.
He needs a real challenge.
Yeah, get some of those Splitgate 1 pros back in. I got to take them on. Show them who's boss while I still can. All right, I'm just Jesse. Yeah, you guys take the question. I don't have it up, so you guys take the question or pick the question.
No problem.
Sure, yeah.
No problem. Garrett, did
Someone
you have
asked
one?
about top-down views. We're discussing internally how these could be done, but nothing to really talk about or announce now.
Yeah, so top-down views being like of the map and like specific call-outs, so players can study that map and kind of have an idea going into it for the first time. Or if you have a bit more of a competitive mindset, I imagine that's something that we would want to consider for sure. That sounds like it could be a beneficial for the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I know some studios do like map intro and it shows the top down or something like that. We could talk about that a little bit more in the future, but yeah, I don't think there's anything to announce just yet on it.
Sure.
Yeah, we should talk because that shouldn't be that difficult. So we should do something, even if it's an unofficial thing, right? Like you could do something, just take a picture at the very least.
Let's see. Here's an interesting one from Warp Sonic. Are you guys open to having a little bit more disparity between casual and competitive map pools? Splitgate 1 had very 1047 maps in ranked, but wondering if you're open to having a bit more limited map pool in comp. That is something I don't know if we've quite considered.
I would say, here's what I'd say to that. Ideally, no, right? Ideally, in a perfect world, like you'd make a map and the experience between casual and ranked would be consistent, because casual, you want those players when they do step into ranked, to be able to pick it up and just have it be at a higher level, more sweaty, more competitive, right? Probably tighter skill-based matchmaking, like, etc. But of course, like if we end up with a map where we're like, yeah, this thing does not work for ranked or it does not work for casual, like we're open to that. But I think we're definitely designing, at least for like 4v4, like we're designing for these maps to be functional across both casual and competitive experiences.
Yeah, the one thing you don't want to do is split the player base, right? Like, I only play ranked because it doesn't have these things that I don't like, right? We want to try to make sure people are enjoying the experience and they're getting a similar experience across modes.
Yeah.
Here's one I enjoyed. Not so much level design focused, but DJ Tinio says, hope for more beautiful neon lights, modern design for maps. Makes you feel like you're playing inside of a modern gaming PC style building. Love that. It sounds to me like you're an Arrows fan. We certainly have plenty of beautiful maps coming down the pipeline. And again, we can't wait for you to be a part of that and check them out. Lots of cool stuff coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, and a lot of visual variety, I'll say. I mean, you've seen we've got one map is like outdoor on Mars, very brown, red. We've got one map is like purpley sci-fi hard surface metal over Venus. You've got Bypass is a beautiful park on Earth, right? And then Ozone, a floating yacht, right? So I think that kind of visual variety, I mean, credit to the art team. And actually, I will add one thing to my answer earlier about how are we doing things differently. I think one of the big things and the reason we're able to make such high quality looking maps is there's just way more collaboration between the art team and the level design team than ever before. And in Splitgate 1, we kind of ran it it was sort of like an assembly line where I'd make a map, okay, maybe we play test it once, we iterate, it's done, great, here you go, art team, make it look pretty. And that's a lot harder to do, whereas like the design language is being considered. It also leads to just more intentionality because of this collaboration. You don't end up with angles that are just broken now, right? Because we're thinking about the shapes as we do the block out. And so we know, okay, we need this angle here, and it gives the art team something to work with so that when they make that gray box look like art, they can stick to the design versus having to kind of break the design to make their artwork. So you just end up with everything sort of just works better, looks better, and you don't end up with those unintended sight lines or abusive angles or whatever it is.
I have two questions here who mentioned gimmick or gimmicky. King of Juice asked any super unique gimmicky maps. One comes to mind. All I can really say, but very excited for a lot of our maps. One in particular is really all I can say on that. So be on the lookout. We might have the same thought process on the map. The other,
I don't know which one he's referring to. Do you, Garrett?
Maybe.
I'll tell you guys after.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then someone else, River, mentioned, any more fun things like the spinning car or jump pads. The spinning car on Arrows is always well loved. And jump pads are on Frontier. Yes, some other maps will have some jump pads. I think that's fine to say. We definitely want our maps to.
And I'll add, there's on the next map that Garrett made, there's another unique kind of new thing, that little gimmicky thing, but very fun that we've never done before. So
yeah, I'm really excited to show that off.
I don't know if that's the one you were thinking about earlier or not.
I think he was talking about something different. But yeah,
there's a lot going on.
the gimmick stuff is hard to talk about without revealing stuff. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Will portal kills still be a possibility? Yes. Like for instance, I would say you can do it on Zenith.
Yeah, you can already do it.
But it's
Ozone too.
Yeah. So they are definitely there. Obviously you got to outplay your opponent to an extreme degree. But yes, portal kills are absolutely something that you can do. How does Griffin, aka Jesse, fare against you all when you get to play internally? I'm terrible. They beat me all the time, really.
I would
right.
say actually the three of us are pretty even. Like I'd say like the three of us are some of the top. We're not the top player in the company. Like that's probably Derek still, Akuvo, but we're in the top 10, I'd say. So,
Yeah, I think I'm probably lower, but there's some really talented people in the company.
yeah, DK is pretty crazy.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Ethan
Yep.
James is pretty crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
The great Manuel, please keep on creating vibrant maps. We love the color pop and day maps, evening maps, cyberpunk maps. We definitely have a lot of vibrant maps. All of our maps are very exciting for us to share. I don't think that you'll be disappointed when it comes to the vibrant colors and the diversity of maps that we have. Something that I think we're doing very well.
Yep.
All right, I say we answer one or two more. Again, chat. If you guys have not already joined the Discord, we have an official Q&A tomorrow where you can post your answers. So again, !Discord to hop in there. We love being able to interact with you guys in the community. It's something that we want to continue to do. Like Ian was saying, you know, we really want to ramp back up to being known as the studio that talks to the community all of the time, because that is what we want. So again, thank
And
you
I'll
guys
say
for being
this,
here.
truly, like a goal of ours is not just to build the best game in the world. Obviously, that is a goal, but our goal as a studio is we want to be the most community first company of any gaming company out there. Like that is a goal of ours. We really want to try to do it. I don't think any of the top shooters, not to bash them, but I think we can do a lot better than other shooters are doing, and we can be a lot more transparent and communicative. And I think it's a winning strategy. You know, if your top goal is make the best shooter in the world, talk to the community, hear them out, get their feedback, listen to them. That's how, you know, goal number 2 gets you to goal number 1 in my mind. So
Yeah. I really like this question from Diet Waffles, which is an interesting name, counterproductive almost. Does player feedback often clash with your original level design ideas or complement it?
I don't think
Well,
it. Oh, you want? I'll
yeah,
say my thoughts and
go
then I'll
ahead.
let
Go
you
ahead.
go. I don't think it's either. I think it's more just like I said earlier. There's sort of a spectrum of like how crazy do you want to go versus how restrictive do you want to go. You know, when we come back to Splitgate 1, it's like, what do we like about Splitgate 1? We like the fact that portals are awesome. You can do super sick plays. You can outsmart players. You can outflank them, out triple portal them, out momentum them. Those are all things that we say are good, right? We want more of that. What do we want less of? Well, we want less of the crazy camping. Camping's not fun. I hate campers. Like, we don't want those crazy sight lines where you just stand in a corner all day looking through a portal, seeing the entire map, right? The conflict is oftentimes you sort of have to make a portal wall that gives you more good and more bad. And that's where it becomes tricky. And so I think player feedback just helps us navigate that. It's not conflicting our original vision. It's not complementing our original vision. It's just helping us walk that fine line of like, how do we do more of the good and less of the bad?
Yeah, totally agree. It's not a this or that. It's more like, well, one thing I could tell you is that we've talked about pretty much every single suggestion that's ever been, well, that I've ever read or heard from anyone else. Like we're thinking about these things. I promise you, we are.
Yeah.
We're spending a lot of time really digging into every angle, every sight line, every opportunity on the map, and weighing the pros and cons. And yeah, sometimes we end up going one way versus the other, and maybe that's where the community feedback comes in and helps us find what's actually the right path to take. But yeah, it's neither. I would say it's a process.
Yep.
All right, we'll go ahead and do two more questions. They're both fun questions, I guess you could say. I apologize, I don't remember who asked this, but it's stuck in my mind for the last like 10 minutes. Will we have more potatoes in Splitgate 2? Yes. One of our maps will have potatoes in one of the vistas. So there you go, potatoes confirmed. Since it's been a question that I have an answer to. Yes, potatoes in Splitgate 2 confirmed. And this one is kind of a shot at Ian. Why don't you have as good as
my
a
gosh.
mustache as Garrett?
Wow.
If only they knew the Top Gun.
I know. I've had a mustache on and off. It's a great question. I don't have a good answer. I really don't have any excuse. I should have done better, and I'd like to apologize to the entire community.
Awesome. Well, I think that'll probably go ahead and wrap it up. Once again, everyone, thanks for being here. Be sure to wishlist the game. We want to see how excited you are for Splitgate 2. We're hella excited. And once again, exclamation point socials to be interactive with our Twitter, Instagram, all that jazz. And we will see you for another stream in the future. Garrett,
And we'll
Ian,
see you
thanks again.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
for the
tomorrow.
Discord.
Yes.
Join the Discord tomorrow. We're going to do a lot more Q&A. We'll be there. So we hope to see you guys there.
Oh, and hunt
Absolutely.
the devs right after that. in
Hunt the
Splitgate.
devs right after that. Yep. Yeah. For those, actually, that's a great point.
If you want to
Yeah.
come hunt us.
Yeah, we're getting some developers to play Splitgate tomorrow afternoon, Pacific time anyway. And yeah, come hunt us down. We'll have the developer tag. If you think you can do it, come 1v1 us.
Sweet.